If you want to apply some formatting to the text throughout your presentation, it's really simple. All you have to do is go ahead and click inside the text box and then click and drag to select the text that you would like to apply some formatting to. And then if you move slightly up and over to the right, it brings up the mini formatting toolbar, in which case you can go ahead and click on B for bold, apply that format, italics, click on the drop down arrow for the font type, and go through it and find, well, whatever works for you. Or if you know the name of the font, just type it in, ARI. You can see down here in the box, if it pulls it up after I type in the first couple letters, then just hit the tab key and it'll apply it. Let's change the size to 24 and change the color to red. Okay, and then click off in a blank area. Cool. Other ways you can go ahead and apply formatting to your text is, let me go ahead and click and drag to select it. You can right click and bring up the mini formatting toolbar as well. It also pulls up the shortcut menu. That's okay. Or let me click off, you can come up here on the Home tab in the font group and get the same options, except you also get shadow, strike through, and in fact if you want more options than what you see there, you can click on the group's expandable dialog box button. You get some options and then you get some effects. We already saw strike through, but if you want to go ahead and equalize the character height, do superscript, subscript, or all caps, go ahead and check it, click OK. Now the text can't all fit within that text box, so it's wrapping it. If I want to go ahead and have it all appear on the same line, then hover over the right middle handle until you can see arrows pointing in opposite directions, then go ahead and click and drag to stretch that open. Okay, looks good. Let me click off. Now if you want to go ahead and apply the same formats that you've applied to that text to some other text throughout your presentation, to keep it simple like the text down below here, Video Training Pro, instead of clicking back within the text and then coming back up here to the font group and reading the tea leaves, or finding out what formats have been applied to it, bold, italics, see Arial 24, expandable, it's all caps, and then coming down here, selecting the text and trying to remember all that. Let's see, was it italics, it underline? I can't remember. Instead, you can use the Format Painter feature. What that does is that it will copy any formats that the cursor is placed in, the formats around it, like the text here, and then I can go ahead and slap the paint over some other text. In other words, the formats will be applied to the text that I slap the paintbrush on. So, how do you bring up the paintbrush? Again, first of all, click inside the text that you want to copy the formatting from, and you can either right-click to bring up the mini formatting toolbar and click on the Format Painter, or you can come up here on the Home tab and in the clipboard group, there it is, click on it, and then notice when I move my mouse around, you got the Format Paintbrush there. All I have to do is go ahead and click and drag to slap that formatting that I just copied wherever my cursor was flashing over to the selected text here, and let go and click off, and cool. Makes the job a lot easier, right? But wait, don't buy yet. I can even make it easier than that, because if I want to go ahead and copy this formatting over and over and over again to other slides throughout the presentation here, it can be really monotonous to right click and then turn on the feature and then paint, and then come back and right click, turn on the feature and paint. What I can do instead is if I double click really fast, it'll keep that paintbrush up and not just have a one-time use until the cows come home, or as long as I'd like to keep that paintbrush going. For example, the paintbrush is up, right? Come down here to slide 2, click and drag, let go. Now if I didn't double click, the paintbrush would disappear. One-time use, but it's still up because I double clicked. Let's go to slide 2, click and drag. Well, you get the idea. Now to get rid of the formatting paintbrush, I can either come up here and deselect it, click on it, or let me turn it on again. You can also hit the escape key on the keyboard, and that will get rid of it. Let's go back to slide 1. Let's see another shortcut, the F4 key. The F4 key will repeat the most recent formatting that you've applied to your text. So for example, if I come down here and I click and drag to select the text, and I come up here and I click on shadow and underline, what was the most recent formatting that I just applied to the text? It wasn't shadow, it was underline. So if I come down here and click and drag to select the text, and I hit the F4 key, notice that shadow hasn't been applied, just the most recent, which was underline. If I have a lot of formatting that I would like to apply to the text, and not just the most recent one, and I want to use the F4 key, well, you can't do it out here in the open. You have to open up and expand the group, because everything you do in here, when you click OK, it'll all be applied when you hit the F4 key. You just can't do it out here in the open. You have to open up the window here. So if I go ahead and change the color, make it envious green, and then make it, instead of bold, let's do italics. Let's decrease the size. In fact, let's go ahead and type in 20 and change the underline color to, I don't know, something hot pink. Well, you get the idea. Let's do strike through. I mean, that's a lot of formatting, right? So if I click OK, And it's already been applied to that because I had it selected when I went through all the steps there. And I came back up here and I selected the text there, and I hit the F4 key. It remembered everything, okay? Now the F4 key is a real time saver for me because when I'm creating a presentation, I'm not waiting to type in some text, make it bold, and then come over here and go, let's see, this has got to be underlined. I just type in the text. And then later on, when I go through the slides, I just go ahead and select whatever the heading is and hit B for bold, and then go to the next slide, select some text, hit the F4 key, go to the next slide, select some text, whatever I want bold, hit the F4 key. It's like an assembly line. Go through, type all the text, go back through, use the F4 key to apply the bold formats, underline, something that I'm going to be applying to my text throughout the entire presentation. Okay, let's go back to slide 1 here. Now, if you want to go ahead and clear the formatting from the text here, all of it, well, first of all, maybe just some of it, go ahead and select it, and then you can come back up here and deselect the formatting. But instead of going through all that and clicking here, you may have a lot of clicks to go through. Instead, just come up here in the font group and click on the Clear All Formatting. Click on it, removes all the formatting, and we're back to where we started. Now, if you want something more dangerous than what we've just covered, then, if you haven't noticed by now, when you select the text, you get the Related Contextual tab, Format, click on it. Now, we're not working right now with shapes or shape styles, but we're working with text, or what we can use as word art. First of all, let's come over here, and you can use text fill. What that is it'll fill in the text with the color, maybe something red. I mean, we already know how to do that, right? But in addition to that, on the Formatting tab, you can also fill it in with a picture, a gradient, or even texture. In fact, let's find something very annoying. Let's do water droplets. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I have to make the text bigger, but it's got the water droplets texture applied to it. Let's go ahead and select it again. You get the idea here, okay? You get more options there. And then we've got next below that the text outline. So if you want to go ahead and outline the text with a color, let's choose red. I don't know if you can see this, but let me make the text size a little bit larger. So let me right click on it, bring this up, and change the font size in the mini formatting toolbar. Let's make it huge. Okay, let me click off. Can you see the little water droplets? Then the outline of it's red. That's really annoying, but you get what you can do over here. That's why I call it dangerous. Unless you know what you're doing and making sure that it blends with your presentation, then it could be trouble. In any case, then you have the effects where you can add shadow or reflection. Oh, that's always fun. Let's add a reflection. You can also add a glow. That's my favorite. Glow. Hey, we created like a neon sign here. And then you can also use word art styles, clicking on the drop down arrow and hovering over these. If you like some of the predefined styles, click on it and click off in a blank area. Actually, after the mess that I made, the final result looks pretty darn cool. And it blends well with my presentation.